First topic of the day, Dion. Obviously, the college basketball transfer portal is something that is immensely a part of the game. And there are, the transfers that are like the Donovan Dents, the Bennett Sturtzes of the world, these high-end kind of transfers. And what I want to do is I want to talk about five college basketball transfers who stood out in this summer, or we think that can basically overperform in our eyes kind of where they were at. So this could be guys that aren't being talked about enough. This could be guys that, maybe we talk about a little bit, but aren't getting the shine of some of these other guys. But the reason I bring this up is because TJ Moore, our good friend over at The Athletic, did an article on this, mentioned players like Ade Mara, Kevin Overton. Was another one of the players he mentioned, Nigel Pack and Darion Reed. So I just want to talk about some of maybe the underrated guys that are going to be added in this transfer portal class, and I want to come up with five collectively that we think could kind of outperform, I guess, the hype that's around them. Sound good?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. I'm assuming we can't use the ones he came up with.
No, let's try to go away from the ones that he went with.
Okay.
So
Um,
obviously, want to leave out, the Yaxels, the Donovan Dents of the world. You can go with whatever ratings you want. I could also just kind of be the end all be all if I'll allow that to be a person who's considered underrated. But um, I just want to let it be known too, as a Michigan State fan, Caleb Glenn would have made this list if not injured. Just let that be known.
what about Trey Ford? No, honestly, the first one I was gonna name is Malik Renew.
Malik Reneau. Oh, at Malik Reneau at Miami.
Yeah, I feel like he's Miami's best player. Maybe Miami stinks, I don't know. But like I feel like I think he's gonna have a pretty good year. And no one's really talking about him. He was ranked 48th according to 24/7. He's better than that.
Yeah, I think he should be a guy that probably, it. I think a lot of it, depending on him though, is like how if he's able to kind of shake what I think was his downfall at Indiana. He was just kind of a player who had a bad stigma associated with him, losing basketball, kind of bad habits. Like, is Miami the spot that fixes that? If it does get fixed, I will say it'd be a big up and positive for Jay Lucas as a coach.
Well, I feel like expectations are lower, right? So it's like one of those things where like I do think he has the stigma about winning, but at Indiana, it's not enough just to win. Like you have to put banners up on the wall the way both Michigan schools did this year. And so I don't know, I think at Miami, if they can go out there and just make the tournament, that's enough for them.
Yeah, that's definitely fair to say. So I want to put Mackenzie Mbako on this list. He's 65th according to 24/7 Sports. Does that count as someone who's not being talked about enough?
I'm good with that, but I think we're gonna have to choose players that didn't go to Indiana last
That's
year.
very true. I only want one Indiana player on here, so I'm gonna move away from him on that one. You know what? I am gonna do Trey Fort. I want some Trey Fort representation here. Trey Fort has been talked about as a guy who has been shooting the ball extremely well. He's 6'4". The athleticism too, I feel like is a little bit underrated with him. He was jumping out the gym on that vertical test. I think he's a player even in Moneyball. Obviously, a joke of a kind of competition. I think at times in that, but I think the athleticism is there. There's a clear role for him next to Jeremy Fears. I think Trey Fort could possibly lead Michigan State in scoring.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Even with Cohen on the team?
even with Cohen on the team.
I don't know about that, but that feels insane. But I do definitely think he's being underrated, though. Like, I don't think he's getting enough credit. It's probably a lot to do with the Caleb Glenn injury, where no one was expecting Ford to kind of play the role that he's now thrust into playing.
Yeah, that's facts. Another name I want to throw out here. I want to know if this makes it or not. Does Doug McDaniel make the list?
He's certainly not being spoken about. That's
But is he not being spoken about for good reason?
I definitely think he's certainly not being spoken about. I think Doug could make I'm a fan of Doug McDaniel's game, but things just seem to go wrong wherever he goes, though.
That's that's true. All right. Is there anyone else that you want to throw on this list before I throw out some more players that could be added?
Um, yeah, I mean Jonathan Powell for North Carolina.
I like that shot.
I think Jonathan Powell because you're also getting 3 years of Jonathan Powell. He's the guy that I really loved at West Virginia. To be honest with you, I think Indiana's whole recruiting class could be on this list because no one's really talking about them. But I was surprised Darren wasn't able to get Jonathan Powell to come with him to Indiana.
Yeah, let's go with, you know what? I like that. We're gonna go ahead and go with Jonathan Powell. We got two more spots open on this list. Ooh, there's a couple different ways you could go here.
Reed Bailey.
I feel like
Or
Reed
is that
Bailey's being spoken about a little bit. I'm not gonna allow Reed Bailey on this list.
okay? What about
I
Tuck?
think we speak about Reed Bailey on this channel.
Then what about Tuck?
You want to add an Indiana player bad to this list, don't you?
So my thing is,
So if it's Indiana guys and it's guys that aren't talked about enough, I honestly want to add Tate and Connerway.
I'm okay with that. That's the guy that's like known for like, yo, he's grit. He's gonna play defense.
I think he does more than that though. I think it's like passing and just like point guard shit.
My only argument for Tucker, my only argument is I feel like we talk about Lamar Wilkerson a lot as if he's like easily the best player on this Indiana team. I think Tucker's easily the best player on this Indiana team.
All right, let's go with Tucker DeVries. Maybe someone that's not being talked about enough. All right, last spot here. I think Moo Davis is talked about too much to be on here, even though I don't know that could feel good about being on here. Some other players. Yeah, no, we talk about him a solid amount. That feels.
Wait, are we doing it based upon who we talk about or who like the media is talking about? My
Oh, we
bad.
are the media. A little
No,
combination of
but you
both.
know what I mean, like the national
Yeah,
media.
yeah. I think like a more like national probably.
Got you. Because that was the only argument for Tucker. Like I feel like we talk about Indiana all the time.
That's very true. No, I feel like with a lot of the bigger like just national media, I feel like Tucker's the afterthought in this case somewhat.
For sure.
Um, you know what? For this last spot, I don't want
Oh, I got one for us, Card. I think you'll like this one actually.
please
Elijah Freeman.
going to Auburn.
hmm Remember, you and I were crazy high on him.
Oh, I still am.
Me too. We saw one crossover and lost our minds.
I think he's a pro. I think he's an NBA player. Don't care. I think he's an
Or what
NBA.
about Blake Harper?
Blake Harper gets talked about a little bit
Does he?
more than Elijah Freeman to me. I like that. I like that. I think that brings together the list pretty well here. So shout out to CJ Moore once again at the Athletic. This is five players that we don't think are being talked about enough nationally in the transfer portal that will end up outplaying or maybe even being like a guy we look back and is like a top 10 transfer. Let's say top 25. Top 10 is a little bit iffy. Malik Renew, Trey Fort, Jonathan Powell, Tucker DeVries, and Elijah Freeman. I feel good about that list.
Me too. Tucker's probably gonna get me killed. I'm not gonna lie. I really be like he's not underrated, but there's a premise behind the Tucker ad.
Just listen. I know people are gonna see the list and they're gonna get upset. Just take a listen and then you'll get it. We appreciate you. That was a fun segment though, Dion.